I had a good conversation already with Secretary Abalos about our jobs being intertwined. And we agreed very early on that we will be working together to be able to make our criminal justice system work better for the country. Nung kami po yung nasa law school pa, we belong to the same batch. Secretary Abalos went to Ateneo de Manila Law School. I went to the University of the Philippines Law School. But we both graduated in 1987. We both became lawyers in 1988. And we were taught about the 5 pillars of the justice system at that time. Ito po yung tinatawag natin na enforcement, which the police does. And of course, the NBI does also to a certain point. Prosecution, trabaho po ng Department of Justice. Judiciary, or the courts, being the ones in the middle of a case. When there is a criminal case, sila nagde-decide. Corrections, which is also shared between the two departments, the BJMP under Secretary Abalos and the Bureau of Corrections under the Department of Justice. And of course, the community. So we're talking about the 5 pillars of the justice system. But lately, when I was analyzing everything, and I was discussing with my fellow lawyers the problem of our justice system, what became very apparent was that enforcement and prosecution did not seem to work well together. And this I raised as a challenge to both of us, to Secretary Abalos and myself, to be able to probably not reinvent the wheel, but to improve the system drastically. Bakit po natin kailangan gawin ito? The conviction rate right now is less than 25% for cases filed. For cases filed in court, criminal cases, which means, and this includes plea bargaining, which means that we are not really getting a passing rate. This is not a standard that we can live with in the next few years. We have to change this drastically. So yun po ang pinag-uusapan namin. And in looking at how we can improve the justice system so that we can minimize criminality, ang talagang kinakailangan is yung certainty of punishment. And when the conviction rate is very low, then the certainty of punishment goes down, then the criminals have a heyday, an easy time with the law. So we looked at what has to be done, and basically we agreed that, number one, probably we have to start retraining our law enforcement units in both remedial and substantive law. Remedial meaning to say procedure. Mula pa lang sa surveillance, sa effecting an arrest, preserving the scene of the crime, processing a scene of the crime, processing the evidence, all of this has to be restudied, reinculcated, and of course, injected into the system in a more widespread manner, meaning to say, every police station should have that skill already from the very start. Pag hindi ko kasi ganyan, puro parang return for further investigation, ba tawag doon? RFI, ang term natin, no? Dapat hindi na mangyayari yan. We have to have an efficient criminal justice system. So, but on the other side of that, of course, is the prosecutors. Meron ho kasi kaming problema ngayon. As I discussed with my classmate and the Undersecretary of Justice, Raul Vasquez, pinag-uusapan namin, may problema tayo sa Rule 112 ng Rules of Court about preliminary investigation where there's a confusion as to the quasi-judicial function of our prosecutors. And as I always believed, we in the Department of Justice are part of the executive department. Quasi-judicial functions should not take precedence over our role to prosecute cases and prosecute them to the very end, that people who are guilty of crimes be convicted and punished. So, under that rule kasi, nagkaka-confusion, and we've started talking to the courts about this, about our friends from the judiciary are aware of what we want to happen. So, at the same time, it's the prosecutors working closely with the police that we want to happen. Ang gusto namin, sana, ang fiscal tsaka police magkakampi na lagi. Hindi sila nagtuturuan, hindi sila nag-aalit, dapat magkakampi po ang prosecutors at police so that cases can be filed directly by them and can be prosecuted to the very end. Ang mahalaga, ngayon kasi probable cause ang ating pinag-uusapan lagi. Whenever we file a case under the Constitution, there's probable cause. Yun lagi ang ating pinag-uusapan. But the other side of it, of course, is another standard by which we can determine the course of action being taken when we file a case. And the other standard that we have discussed, which is a proposal, this is not the law, this is a proposal, that when there is probable cause, there is also reasonable certainty that the person charged will be convicted given the evidence. Yun po yung gusto namin mangyaring standard para mag-pursue ng criminal case. So, given this, ang emphasis talaga, prosecution as an executive function. So when enforcement and prosecution go together, probably we will have a stronger criminal justice system. And the real aim here is to have a better, effective conviction rate para hindi po nasasayang ang resources. Our country always complains of limited resources, but efficient use is probably another important issue that we should put into mind all the time. So given that, marami kaming synergy pa eh. No? Yesterday, I was with I visited the Board of Pardon and Parole and the Parole and Probation Administration in Quezon City para lang to feel that they have, the DOJ is with them, the Secretary of Justice, the SOJ is with them. Naabutan ko yung Bucor, nag-aabot ng manual karpeta, handwritten karpeta, which a karpeta is the record of the prisoner or the person deprived of liberty. Di ba? PDL sa tawag natin, the politically correct term. Eh pag manual ng manual yan, tapos isa-isang inaabot, ang nakakulong po sa bilibid lang mismo, mahigit 30,000 tao, 30,000 people. Ang nakadetain sa buong Pilipinas, mahigit 100,000 tao. Baka mga 200,000 pa siguro ang nakadetain. Kung ito ay manual nila, eh paano na mangyayari ang buhay ng mga nakapiit, di ba? Nakakulong. So, marami talagang issues where we converge. Towards the end, ang gusto rin namin mangyari dyan, magkaroon talaga ng singular justice, yung kung pwede, yung pagbabantay po ng mga persons deprived of liberty will go into one command only. Para ho, walang masasayang, nothing will be lost in translation. So, given that, we are here to really put ourselves forward to everybody that we will work closely in making the criminal justice system work. Whatever it takes. If we have to talk to the Supreme Court, if we have to change the law, if we have to talk to Congress, we will do that para lang po mapabuti natin maging mas efficient ang ating criminal justice system. And with the help of the police, ang police po sila po ang pinaka main pillar natin sa enforcement ng law sa buong Pilipinas. Pagka ho naging mas maganda po ang kanilang training o kaya nakafocus lagi sa criminal justice system or criminal sciences, I don't think that magkakaproblema pa tayo sa peace and order later on. We will have a better country in the end. Yan po ang gusto ng Pangulo. Magkaisa po tayong lahat. Ito po is just putting our feet forward. Kami po ni Secretary Abalos that working together will bring results for the country. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Secretary Remulla.